Greetings and welcome to the UC San Diego AI Alumni Council webinar series. Today's focus is AI meets life. This foundation webinar series has three distinct perspectives every quarter, and this month we kick off Q1 with AI meets life. We turn over a lot of stones to find you something that's kind of under the radar for AI use, that is in action, that's impacting people today in surprising and inspiring ways. So these aren't the headlines that you're hearing every day. We really try to find the gems for you. We're going to start quickly with some updates from Brian and Kana. And then we have two topics today. One, how AI is changing what ends up on your dinner table. And that's from a company, Carbon Robotics. I'll be presenting that. And then our main topic and guest speaker, Guille Hoefel from Qualcomm, we'll be covering how agentic AI is operating at scale. This is agentic at scale to solve highly localized edge case moments that affect our everyday life in ways we may not see, but they are ways that we feel. And then we'll cover what's next and move on. So I'm going to hand it over to Kana and Brian for some updates.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kana Motoshike. We're very excited that we have just launched our survey. So we really want to hear from you and get your input on what you'd like to see from us and learn about in the AI world. So you can find the survey through this QR code, as well as through our LinkedIn group, the UC San Diego AI Alumni Council. It's also on our Instagram, which is also UC San Diego AI Alumni Council. So be sure to register for our upcoming webinar series that can be found with the same two links, or join our email list. And if you'd like to become a speaker, you can definitely reach out to Sandra at her email right here, sandra@sandstonepartners.com, or on her LinkedIn. Can't wait to hear from you.
Thank you, Kana. I'm excited to see responses as well. Brian, you've got a couple updates here.
Yeah, so those of you who attended the last webinar, and also you'll see in this one, we have who's doing those sorts of things. We are adding some additional series to how we do our webinars going forward. So one that's coming up is going to be an AI Spotlight series. It's going to focus on industry, technology, and other aspects. This is a foundational webinar series. It'll cover topics like outside of the AI in the real world or student spotlights, those sorts of things. We have something already planned for April that's going to talk about legal and ethical challenges. We will likely have additional webinars popping up for February and March that we're planning now that will focus on things like self-driving cars or what public opinion means for AI. So keep an eye out for those. We'll obviously announce them as we get those up and running. You can always find them on the UCSD alumni calendar of events, as well as I'm sure you'll be hearing from us in the various ways that we reach out to you, whether that's LinkedIn or email or in the webinars. So again, just keep for those and we'll happy to share those with you as they get put together. On a slightly separate kind of thread, February 6th is the quarterly alumni, San Diego alumni board meeting. This is an open to everyone event, including the public. So if you would like to join, there will be a sign up and a webinar link you can look at for that. We don't have too many additional pieces of information here in this webinar, but we did want to let you know this is coming up soon and you can find more information at the link here when it comes out, or also on UCSD website and the calendar events as well. So we're just getting started. If you'd like to be a speaker or you'd like to participate in another way, please reach out and let us know. This is the link to the survey in case you missed it earlier. And you're getting your phone out, get it out again, scan the QR code, and make sure you don't lose the link. That way you can let us know what you think. We can make these events more catered for your interests and what you want to hear about. I think Kana already covered this, so I won't read it to you, but if you want to be a speaker, or you want to propose an initiative or collaborate in any other way, please do reach out. Again, QR code and survey is a great way to do that. You can also send us an email or put something up on LinkedIn. For those of you who missed the last webinar or needed a reminder, this is the leadership team for the AI Alumni Club. Sandra's our chair. I'm Brian, co-chair. You heard from Kana, our secretary and marketing person already. And then Robbie Byer couldn't make today's meeting as our treasurer. And then David Bodita is doing operations for us. So yeah, if you need anything and know one of those people, send us a message.
And all of us are listed as managers on the LinkedIn group, so you can connect with us, DM us anytime. The LinkedIn group is a good hub for that. Well, thank you so much, Brian, Kana, really appreciate it. I'm Sandra Peterson, chair of the council. I'm also CEO of Sandstone Partners. I've been involved in AI for a long time, 20 years in Silicon Valley with companies like Apple and NVIDIA, but also many startups and small, medium businesses. Sandstone Partners now focuses on AI adoption across the organization with training, strategy, change management, with a focus on responsible AI, which is becoming increasingly important. We have 2 topics today. Before we get to our main highlight with Guille Hoefel at Qualcomm, I will be talking about how AI is changing what ends up on your dinner table. So we're going to cover how artificial intelligence is really changing and even revolutionizing the farming industry. This isn't through apps and dashboards. This is actually through autonomous robotics. And there are robotics on the market now that are literally reshaping our food supply chain and what ends up on your table. So today we're focusing on Carbon Robotics. They're based in Seattle, Washington. They've built an autonomous farming robot called the Laser Weeder. It's a field deployed system that uses AI, computer vision, and high-powered lasers to identify and eliminate weeds with unbelievable precision. And we'll go through some of the technology behind that precision. Instead of spraying chemicals or relying on large manual labor crews, this actually seeks out in the field the plant itself and distinguishes crop from undesirable weeds and targets them with a laser to eliminate the undesirables. This isn't just assistive automation. This is actually fully autonomous capable. It is a great example of AI decision-making happening real time in the field. Those are our 2 themes today, which is not an easy task. So this is not a demo. This is not a pilot. These are in production farms. There are over 100 growers using this in US, Europe, Australia, and it's being used on thousands of acres. And what they're seeing is it's scalable across large production farms. They're also seeing a huge impact on high value crops. So these are crops that command a higher price and are in higher demand, but maybe harder to grow and supply. And then specialty crops are also seeing a huge boost from this because specialty crops can be fairly finicky on what you can do in the field, whether it's disrupting the field or putting herbicides. They're finicky on how that affects the output of the specialty crops. So we can expect to see an improvement in our specialty crops coming there. So this is in the market and in use today and impacting us. So what's going on under the hood? There's 2 main AI technologies here. Carbon Robotics has developed what they call a large plant model. This is very much like a large language model, LLM, but instead of being based on text and language, it's based on plant images. So this is a large plant model that they've developed. They've trained it on over 65 million labeled plant images so that the system can distinguish between a crop that is a desirable plant or a weed that is about to be eliminated. So that large plant model is a big part of the technology under the hood. The next one is computer vision and compute. So every system in the field has 24 NVIDIA GPUs on the unit itself so that the visual data can be processed real time in the field in milliseconds. So what this means is when you use ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot, you're sending in information tokens. It's going up to the cloud. The large language model is operating and sending you back information. This system is real-time inference in the field. What that means is that visual input is happening on the system in the field. It's evaluating, making that identification of the plant, making the decision on the action to take real time in the field. This is amazing cutting edge technology. I'm really excited about what this company does. From the physical standpoint, it also operates at a sub-millimeter accuracy level. That's the physical location of not only the plant in the ground, but the place on the plant called the meristem, the apical meristem, which is where the plant divides cells and grows. The system can find the meristem point to laser focus on that part of the plant. This is truly incredible technology. So this is actually working and functioning at operational fields that they're accustomed to. There's no slowdown. They're not waiting for the system. And it can operate in environments that sometimes farmers with herbicides cannot. I used to be in the wine industry and we spray sulfur. It's an organic compound. But if it were too hot or windy and we usually have a 4-day window in the growth cycle of the plant to do this, you can't spray that year and your crop is at risk. So allowing farmers to do this system operates day, night, windy conditions, dusty conditions. It's a game changer. So I couldn't believe when I saw this. This system can eliminate up to 10,000 weeds a minute in the field. I was just astounded with that. Okay, so what's the real impact here? And as we're looking for examples of how AI impacts life, one of the reasons I picked this one was because the long list of impact it had, and not just on you and me, but also on our whole food supply chain. So for farmers, they're seeing a reduction in the cost of weed management of up to 80%. Also, in farming, and we used to have to do this, hand weeding at certain parts of the growth cycle and certain parts of the crop cycle, this eliminates that kind of hard to find and backbreaking work because this can be run in the field repeatedly if needed. And then because you're eliminating herbicides, and now, of course, organic farmers do this all the time. What's the big deal? The mitigation of that without using herbicides is not as scalable, which is why organic food sometimes costs more. So this is actually a scalable alternative to chemical herbicides. And of course, for the farmers, being able to operate anytime is a mass efficiency for them. Now, for you and me, who doesn't want cleaner food? Dramatically reducing the herbicide use is changing what's not just when you wash your vegetables, but in the vegetables themselves, especially berries. Those are known to carry a lot forward unless you get organic. Also, because the runoff from the soil isn't having the herbicides washed into our water systems, this is going to help clean up our water systems, the water that we drink every day. And because the crops are healthier, the soil's healthier, we're actually developing a more resilient food supply chain locally and where we live and nationwide and other countries as well. So this is a huge impact to a huge ecosystem and is affecting us in ways that we just don't see, but a true gem of a solution. Bonus, after they had done pilots, some of the farmers were reaching out to Carbon Robotics saying, hey, we didn't expect this, but we're actually getting more output from our fields. So they ran tests and they were getting up to 30% more growth, biomass, more growth from their plants. And what they were finding is there's no soil disruption, no blades, nothing churning up root systems, no mechanical disturbance. What that has been leading to is a healthier soil microbiology, which stronger root systems, better intake of nutrients, and you've got healthier plants that are going to produce more food. And then, of course, without the herbicides, you're not putting that chemical stress on the crop itself. So naturally, it's going to yield higher quality and higher quantity. So that was a benefit that was unexpected and, of course, welcome. So what this says for the future and all the benefits that just went over are just going to be magnified and pick up. And the health benefits, who knows, right? But that's AI in the dirt. It's in our food system. It's quietly reshaping our health, the way farming is being done, even sustainability. So I'm just thrilled with what this company is able to accomplish by applying AI technology out in the field. All right. Now, I would like to introduce you to our main speaker and our guest. Guille Hoefel is principal machine learning engineer at Qualcomm. And today, his session is going to go beyond agentic. Everybody's talking about agents right now, and you think whole companies are run on them. Trust me, they're not. I consult. I'm in this every day. Agents are a challenge. He's going to go beyond theory and the what if to show how agentic AI in production at scale, this is bleeding edge, and how it's beginning to reshape our digital lives in, again, ways that we don't really see, but we do feel in how our devices function. Guille has more than 20 years experience at Qualcomm, and he brings deep hands-on experience in deploying AI across cloud networks, but also edge computing. This is beyond the mass systems that are mature and even on the edge of technology now. Edge computing is the next frontier. So you've got two gems you get to see today. One that's edge computing, and the other is agentic at scale. And with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen and hand it over to you.
Thanks, Sandra. Thanks. Great presentation about how edge AI is helping the crops. I think that's kind of very inspiring. Sometimes we live in the digital world, but knowing actually things are affecting the table, I think that's actually very super interesting to me. Especially because at Qualcomm, although we have been around for a long time, people don't understand exactly, don't have a clarity how actually impact the end users, right? How it impact people every day. So this is a good opportunity for us to be able to share some of the stuff we're doing. Can you see my screen? I just share it.
Yeah, and while
Okay.
you're getting your screen set up, I do want to let folks know, and I actually not forget to do this. I want to pause the recording. It's Qualcomm policy to not record or share slides. So you guys will be receiving an on-demand recording and the slides, but they won't include this section. Thank you, Guille. The level of innovation that Qualcomm leads always amazes me. And it's exciting to see the work you and your teams are driving. And thank you, everyone, for joining today's AI Meets Life webinar. Please remember to take our short survey so we can keep bringing you the AI insights you want and need most.